You're looking at Xavi, Iniesta, more recently Pedri, and you're like, yeah, Jack Wilshere's in that class.
Jack Wilshere's like a Zubamendi, bro. Like that,
All right, guys, we got a cool segment here, Fraud Watch. I'm going to give you guys a player, and you guys are going to tell me in their careers, are they guilty or innocent of being a fraud?
I don't like this. I don't like it.
First player, Wilfried Zaha.
Innocent. I think he's fine.
I think Wilfried Zaha.
Okay, here's the thing with Wilfried Zaha. It's like, he played very well for Crystal Palace. He wasn't quite good enough for Man United. Now he's playing in MLS. That is a perfectly agreeable career.
I feel like for Wilfried Zaha, it was like he went to Manchester United at a terrible time. You know, Sir Alex was just leaving. He played 0 minutes for David Moyes. Goes back to Crystal Palace, becomes a club legend. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Some players are good at being a club legend.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with innocent as well. I don't think he was big enough to be considered a fraud of any sorts. The streets will never forget Zaha, but I also don't think that he was ever in a conversation to be considered a fraud.
Yeah, nah, never.
He just kind of existed, and he's probably going to be really good in MLS.
He was a good Premier League winger, you know what I mean? Like, but you're not going to be telling your kids about Zaha.
It's like me and podcasting, do you know what I mean? Just rock solid. If you know, you know. Never going down in history.
Next one we have Mario Balotelli.
Fraud. You're all just spellbound and baited by a few beautiful goals, but I don't know, man. It just seemed to me, and I say this being not a professional footballer, it seemed like he never just had like the desire or the passion to be at the next level, or like the series, like never took it seriously enough. Do you know what I mean?
For Mario
Balotelli, which is crazy that he didn't take it serious
and
but
still
he made
played
it so far.
Well, that's what's weird, right? No, but that's what's fucked up, because he should have been, like, on talent. We say this about a lot of players, but on talent should have been here. Should have been unbelievably good.
I'm going to disagree with you, though. I'm going to say innocent. He's not a fraud.
I don't think
he's an icon. I think for in his own way, he's moved the sport in a different way off the field, giving us stuff to talk about. The Why Always Me shirt, like how iconic. Like, there's not many guys that have been as iconic. And by the way, on Instagram, anytime Balotelli is in something, it pops. Like, he just has that it factor. And so
Kids call it aura.
While he didn't make it to where we think he could have, I don't think he's a fraud, because he's getting the attention now.
So if you say Balotelli based on what he should have been is a fraud, yes. But Balotelli in the Mario Balotelli cinematic universe that he currently exists in,
he's the opposite of a fraud.
Yeah, then he's the opposite.
He's amazing.
But it's like he's created his own thing of like. But how is it that we've if you zoom out, right, we've made being shit and being an asshole a brand, and that works for him.
Because that
for him though.
For him.
But that wouldn't work for 99.9%
but
people.
just the absurdity of that. That is objectively.
Remember the back heel?
Yeah. Oh,
the back heel is
I was watching that.
The back heel against LA Galaxy when he did. Bro, he thought he was offside though.
Oh, bollocks.
He thought he was offside, bro.
Bollocks. It doesn't matter.
There's a whistle. If you watch the video, though, if you go back and rewind the clip,
there was a whistle.
Listen, guys, because we could put this in the clip. We could put this in the video.
Yeah.
If you rewind the clip, you hear a whistle in the crowd go off. So Balotelli thinks, oh, I'm offside. There's no point. But it wasn't offside. It wasn't the ref. It was the whistle from someone who was a fan in the crowd.
I was watching live. I didn't hear it.
Exactly. I was watching it live. Also, whether you think you're offside or not, just kick the ball into the net.
But that was back in the day when there's no VAR, so there's no point of finishing the.
People did it anyway.
I mean, I guess, but back in the day, they weren't calling it back though.
That's true.
Still smash it into the net.
They weren't calling it back though. There was no VAR at that time. So obviously, if you're offside, you're just
Did he get interviewed after the match? Like, did he say?
Yeah, he said he thought it was the whistle for being offside, but it was really a fan. If you guys go back and watch the video, I promise you, fam.
I'm sure. Look, there may be a whistle, but I even know that's Balotelli just going like, yeah, man, I thought I heard a whistle.
I feel like for Mario Balotelli, though, I always had a soft spot for him because I knew his upbringing. For example, coming from Ghana, he got adopted by a family in Italy that had no idea where he came from, what black culture is, being the only black kid in the entire city that he's from in Italy. You go to a club like Inter Milan, you're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. And of course, when he's a young age, playing under Jose Mourinho, you're going to go through some petulance. You're going to go through some times where you're immature. And I don't think he's ever grown from that. But I also think that comes from his childhood and where he's come from. And I really feel bad for him.
That's why I think it was him against the world. Like, that was his mentality. And he honestly wore it well. Like he really did.
Jack Wilshere.
Holy shit. have to even think about what he looked like.
Oh my God.
I forgot about
For
Jack
me,
Wilshere.
Jack Wilshere was that guy coming out of Arsenal's academy.
Okay, Arsenal, of course. So you think he's innocent?
I think he's innocent just because I think the injuries.
I
feel
think he's
you
a
can't
fraud
control
because
that.
I don't even remember. Like I remember him briefly. If he's on this list, he's a fraud.
Dang, y'all don't really like Jack Wilshere like that.
Not like that.
I thought he was quite good for a while, and there's the iconic little
The Barca game?
I don't care.
2011.
Don't care.
Come on, bro. All right, there was this theory that people were saying that if Jack Wilshere was born in Spain, he'd be like any other.
Oh, I saw
midfielder.
that. No, that's Barca.
Do you guys agree with that?
That is Arsenal fan propaganda.
What?
That is Arsenal fan
statement.
propaganda.
Yeah,
that statement.
That if Jack Wilshere was born in Spain, he'd be like any other
crazy talk.
midfielder there.
That's
Do you think
crazy
that's the
talk.
truth?
No, that's just Arsenal fan propaganda.
Because he was never that good on England.
Yes.
I mean, I guess, but
That's
do you think
true. It's like you're looking at Xavi, Iniesta, more recently Pedri, like Busquets,
he's
whatever,
not in
and
that.
you're like, yeah, Jack Wilshere's in that class.
Jack Wilshere's
Bollocks.
like a Zubamendi, bro. Like that's the level. That's the level that he's
Hey,
at.
listen. You guys aren't understanding my point. I
Jack
said,
Wilshere's balling for
Wait,
Real
time out.
Sociedad right now.
I said that
That's
Jack.
exactly what he is.
No. Pep Guardiola said that Jack Wilshere would be an average Spanish center mid. You guys are missing my point.
Oh.
What do
Oh.
you guys feel about that?
I agree.
think he's an average
He's a
English
Zubamendi.
centre-mid, so
Okay,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That makes
it's fine.
sense.
All right,
Fine.
cool. All right, ain't nothing wrong with that. So he's guilty.
Guilty.
Yeah, but also like he was constantly injured, wasn't he?
Yeah,
so
he
it's
was.
like, so what? But yes, guilty. Let's be dramatic.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
The opposite of a fraud.
He can't.
Dude, if
The
I
opposite of
said
a fraud.
if I said that Zlatan was a fraud, I feel like he'd hire someone to hunt me down and kill
Listen,
me.
I can't. My namesake, like the reason why my name is Raheemovic is because of Big Zlat. So I can't show hate.
No, yeah, you definitely
Yeah, I
can't.
can't show hate.
Okay, so he is innocent, but the act kind of annoys me. Not like the whole like
demeanor.
I am the demeanor. I was at a press conference. He started answering a question normally and then realized he had to get back into Zlatan mode. So like someone asked him
That's
about
weird, yeah.
That
it's
is weird.
That
Yeah,
must
it's
have been weird
as
to
hell.
see.
That's
Oh,
weird
yeah,
to
yeah,
see that live. Someone switch up.
Yeah. So this was last year, and someone asked him about signing Alvaro Morata, and he's like, yeah, he's a good player, blah 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 blah, and it's talking a bit about his quality, and then basically just has to go, but Zlatan is better, and I'm like, what the like.
You
Aren't
sounded
you
normal. You sounded normal for a second.
And
now
then, but so it's like almost like, it's like once the glass is shattered, you're like, oh, you're just a normal person who's trying to be like this.
Yeah.
It's like an act, and that kind of, it disappointed me.
But let me ask you this though, right? Like when you're a guy like that, always cameras on you. I don't know. Like I kind of feel like he's maximized himself through doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like from a business standpoint.
Oh, it's
he's
genius.
really
Well-
maximized himself. And not only that though, he's won a lot. He's scored a lot. Everywhere he's gone, he was successful. That's why he's not a fraud. He goes to LA. The first goal he scores, I'll never forget.
Oh my
Like
God.
the volley that he
volleys.
scored was one of the nicest goals I've ever seen.
That's unbelievable.
Right? On Sweden, he was great. Like anywhere he played, he was very good.
Yeah.
There was always this counter argument though that like Zlatan would never win you like the Champions League. Like if you had Zlatan as your number 9, he
could
never
be-
won the
that could
Champions
be.
League.
Well-
And another thing is that Zlatan was the kind of player where you had to kind of design the team
Yes.
around his skill set. It wasn't like you could just throw him in the mix. It's the reason why he didn't work at Barcelona, for example.
Yeah, that could
You
be.
have to build around Zlatan for him to succeed. Do you guys think that kind of puts him in that guilty category a little bit?
It moves him towards them, but what you've got to think is that the times when Zlatan was at his absolute best in terms of like goal scoring production in his prime, right? Nines weren't sexy anymore. Like his how like number 9s, people want 9s again? Say from what? Zlatan's best from 2012 to
2016? Or even...
Yeah,
you
15,
could say that,
16.
Yeah.
number 9s are going out of fashion around that time.
Yeah, it was. False 9s.
Everyone's doing funky things with like 5'7" diminutive Spanish midfielders, like Jack Wilshere.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he played in a weird era.
So guilty, innocent, or plead the fifth?
Innocent.
Nah, he's definitely innocent.
Innocent.
I'm gonna throw a bonus one in here. Let's talk about Zinedine Zidane. Innocent or guilty? And
Innocent. Innocent.
He's the
Innocent.
most
Go ahead.
innocent. He's the most innocent one on the list.
Oh my God.
The most innocent one on the
Raheem,
list.
go on.
Legendary player, coach.
Guys,
go ahead.
today I'm gonna state my case on why I think Zinedine Zidane is a little bit of a fraud. Zinedine Zidane has never scored more than double digits in his career for Real Madrid. After Zinedine Zidane won that Champions League with Real Madrid, do you remember him more of his time as a Real Madrid player, what he did on the pitch, or more of his time with France? I think a lot of people remember his French accomplishments more than what he's done with Real Madrid. Other than the volley. Are you watching Juventus 1990s highlights?
I wasn't born, bro.
Exactly, fam. That's my point. Like, who's remembering that?
So by that logic, is Pele a fraud?
No, but I'm not. Okay.
Are you watching Pele highlights on the couch?
Sticking with Zidane. Let's stay on topic. Another thing is, I think Zidane cost his team a World Cup final in 2006. If he doesn't get that red card, I think France have the momentum.
Yeah, but
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, but how many did he win his country?
One.
So he's already won them one.
Okay, so what's wrong with winning two?
Okay, yeah, fair point. But
If you're already in the final, might as well go all the way, right? What's the point of working so hard to get to the final just to lose in the final?
Absolutely cooked in the semi-final, though, didn't he?
He did absolutely cook in the semi-final, but it didn't lead to winning the trophy at the end of the day. I think for Zinedine Zidane, I think people vastly overrate his club career.
I think people vastly underrate how technical he was, and I would actually go out and say there are not many players in the modern game that move the ball like Zinedine Zidane did. There's not many guys that receive a ball like Zinedine Zidane did. Now,